Hey, good morning. Thanks for joining me today. Man, the market is just crazy. It continues to change. Mortgage rates were starting to drift lower. We actually had a mortgage rate decline over the last, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks or so. It got down to 6.09, 6.11%. But now today they're back up to 6.67%, according to Mortgage News Daily. So, yeah, what does this mean for the housing market? We're about to find out because pending sales have actually shown a nice increase over the past 4 weeks, as you're going to see on this in this latest Redfin data. Not only that, but new listings were starting to improve a little bit. Active listings starting to improve. But now that mortgage rates over the last 2 3 weeks since the Fed cut have spiked, where will the housing market go from here? That's the question. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Again, thanks for joining me on the Redfin Live. Let's jump into the Redfin article. All right. So the Redfin article, it's always interesting what they say as far as the title goes, but they claim pending home sales post their biggest increase since 2021. But remember, this is backwards looking over the last, 4 weeks. And so mortgage rates and people that had locked in mortgages, you know, in the in the low 6% range before they spiked are now facing, definite headwinds as the mortgage rates are higher. So remember that as we're looking through this data, because this is not necessarily what's going on in the market. All right. So they say home sales are rising in most major metros as housing payments sit near their lowest level since January, but they're falling in coastal Florida as hurricanes hit the southeastern U.S. Mortgage rates rebounded over the weekend. That could soon begin to impact home buyer demand. Yeah, I mean, they just keep going up, up, and up. Pending home sales rose 2% from a year earlier during the 4 weeks ending October 6th. That's the biggest increase in 3 years. Demand picked up at early stages of home buying process too. Redfin's Home Buyer Demand Index, a measure of tours and other buying services from Redfin agents, sat near its highest level since May last week. And mortgage purchase applications are up 8% month over month. New listings are also rising with a 5.7 year over year uptick. But unlike the increase in pending sales, that's a continuation of a trend. New listings have been increasing for nearly a year. They say that, but we're still only up like 6% year over year in new listings. So, new listings are still way low compared to where they have been historically. And it doesn't seem like sellers are really coming back to the market. It just doesn't. Pending home sales improved because buyers came out of the woodwork in late September after the Fed's interest rate cut, even though mortgage rates has already been declining for several weeks in anticipation of the cut. That's what happened. We saw a big decline in mortgage rates with the anticipation of the Fed cut, but once the Fed cut, the rates went back up. So they're saying the average home payment now $2,526, near its lowest level since January. That's probably going to change once they get the new rates in play here. It's worth noting that we're comparing to a period last year when sales waned as mortgage rates surged to 7.5%. Here they kind of update it in a more realistic way. Mortgage rates jumped over the weekend, which could deter some buyers in the coming weeks. The improvement in sales may slow in the coming weeks as mortgage rates started to rise last Friday after a surprisingly strong jobs report. Daily average mortgage rates jumped 6.62% on Monday from 6.26 last Thursday. That's a big jump, folks. Look at that difference. I mean, almost 40 basis points. We expect some buyers back off due to rising rates, but not all of them. Mortgage rates are still significantly lower than they were last year. and lower than earlier this year. And the Fed is on track to continue cutting rates. Okay, good. But what do you think? Do you think like rates will continue to fall or continue their fall that they were having? Or you think they'll go up? Are we going to pass 7%? I don't know. We may. House hunters are monitoring mortgage rates closely, but so far, the increase in rates isn't slowing buyers down. The home I listed on Thursday got a lot of traffic over the weekend and received 10 offers. That's what this premier Redfin agent in Seattle is saying. I'm advising buyers to make an offer if they love a home. Don't try to time the market. Rates have swung down and then up over the last few weeks, and we don't know exactly what will happen in the next few weeks. A buyer may lock in a slightly slightly higher rate now than they would have 2 weeks ago. But if they wait, it's possible rates will increase even more. It's also possible rates drop more significantly, which could heat up the competition. Well, the CPI came out this morning and it was higher than forecast. So, that may cause rates to go up more because folks may be baking in the fact that the Fed's not going to cut as much as they thought they were going to. Maybe people got overly optimistic about the cuts. Then they also go on to talk about the Hurricane Helene, which obviously is, or Helena. I've heard it say multiple ways. But we've got that hurricane. Then you got Hurricane Milton, obviously, that will affect the housing market. We hope everybody's okay. We don't want any problems. We don't want any loss of life, obviously. I mean, they had some in this in Hurricane Helena. And it's horrible, right? We just don't want to see that. And insurance costs are probably going to skyrocket, especially for the people in these coastal areas. But probably going to affect everybody with home insurance. So they talk about that, and they talk about how, Tampa, Miami, pending sales are low in those areas because of the hurricane. That's no joke. I'm sure people are not shopping for houses when they're trying to save their life, right? All right. So let's get to the leading indicators, and then we'll head to the metros. Daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, it's 6.61%. That's up from 6.11. Look at that jump. 50 basis points in 3 weeks. Big jump. But down from 7.7% last year. Is that an improvement? Sure, it's an improvement. Is it a great improvement? I don't know. Not if prices are still where they are, which, by the way, they are. This doesn't show a huge decline in prices yet. Weekly average 30-year fixed mortgage rate, 6.12%. That's a thing of the past. Mortgage purchase applications, pay attention to this, essentially unchanged from a week earlier as of the week ending October 4th, but they're up 8% year over year. Up 8% year over year. Yeah. So even though purchase applications are up, now that rates have spiked, I wonder if, purchase applications will stay high or keep rising, or will they drop? I don't know. Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index, near its highest level since May, up 5% from a month earlier. So they're saying demand's, rushing back. As an agent, as a realtor, I can tell you clearly, I haven't seen a massive increase in buyer demand. I have not. It's up. The buyer demand index is up 2%. Biggest increase in about a year. All right. Touring activity. How many people were seeing homes? Down 8% from the start of the year. At this time last year, it was down 9% from the start of the year. So I guess it's a little better than last year, but not much. So touring activity is in the toilet. Google searches for home. This is also not good. Down 2% from a month earlier and down 11% year over year. All right, key housing market data. This is where they look at the top 400 metros in the U.S. and analyze, the top line data. Median sale price, $383,000. That's up 4% year over year. They revised last week's data down to $382,000. So it's slightly up from last week or the last report, but it's only up 4% year over year. It'll be interesting to see how this goes, because right now it doesn't seem like prices are crashing yet, as far as median pricing goes. Obviously, local prices, depending on where you live, could be crashing. Median asking price, what people are asking for homes, that's $399,925. That is up 5.7% year over year. That's the biggest increase in 2 years. So That median sale price follows probably median asking price, right? So people are asking, more for their home than they were last year, and it's more than the median sale price. This could be the factor of people just listing more expensive homes for sale, or it could be, you know, uh, the fact that people are trying to just get more for their home, maybe wish pricing, right? People hope their house is worth a certain amount of money, so they list it, then it doesn't sell, then they take it off the market. Median monthly mortgage payment, $2,526 at 6.12%, near its lowest level since January. That's nearly $300 below April's all-time high. So housing payments are 5.8% lower than they were this time last year, but prices are still sticky and rates aren't amazing right now. So, uh, and by the way, that's at a 6.12% rate, not the 6.67%. Pending sales, 77,951, up 2% year over year. Look at that. Biggest increase in nearly 3 years in pending sales. But again, that's when rates were 6.12%. New listings, 89,388 new listings hitting the market. That's up only 5.7% year over year. Again, not a huge spike in new listings. There's just not. You're going to see the pain there. That's probably where you're going to see the pain the quickest, is if people start saying, "Well, I got to sell my house. I don't have to, but I'm sorry. I don't want to sell my house. I have to sell my house." If they start saying that, you'll see that in the new listings, because new listings will rise as more people just say, "Man, I got to sell my house." Active listings. Now we're over a million, pretty steady over a million now, 1,041,000, up 18%. They're saying this is the smallest increase since April. But you can see on the graph here in a second that it's not dropping, but it's just kind of going sideways as far as active listings. Months of supply, 3.9 months of supply. There's just a lot of homes that are stale on the market. We know that. Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks or less, 34.2, down from 40%. So homes are just sitting longer. Median days on market shows that too. That's up 7 days, median days on market. Share of homes sold above list price is 26%. There are 26% of the homes being sold right now that are actually selling higher than the current list price. Average sale to list price ratio, 98.8%. So buyers are approximately getting 1.2% off the list price. The final list price, by the way, not the original list. That's different than the current list price. So there are some discounts going on, but not a ton. Nationally, every market's different, but nationally, that's what we're talking about now. All right. But at this time, what we'll do is look at the top 50 most populous U.S. metros, and they give the top line data there. So the first piece of data that they give us is the median sale price, where the winners and losers are. You've got Newark, New Jersey, 11.4% increase year over year in the median sale price. Nassau County, New York, 11.1% increase in the median sale price. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 10%. Chicago, 9.7%. And Cleveland, Ohio, 9.7%, higher than last year in the median sale price. Where are they declining the most? Austin, Tampa, San Antonio, Oakland, Fort Worth. This list is almost the same every week. A lot of Texas cities. There's California in there, but mostly Texas. The median price declined in just 5 metros out of the top 50. Just 5. Just 5. So 45 metros of the largest metros have a year over year increase in the median sale price. Pending sales, a key stat to watch, folks. Phoenix, Seattle, San Jose, San Antonio, Virginia Beach. Those are all up year over year in pending sales the most. Down in pending sales is West Palm Beach, Tampa, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Atlanta. Pending sales increased in 32 of the top 50 metros. That's extraordinary if you think about it. Again, that's when rates were coming down. And I'm really curious to see what happens when rates increase. As rates have increased, I'm curious to see what the next report shows. New listings. Where are new listings hitting the market the most? Look at this. San Jose, 24%. Phoenix, 21%. We're going to look at Phoenix more detail here in a second. New Brunswick, New Jersey, Seattle, Baltimore, Maryland. We're going to look at Baltimore too. That increased the most in new listings hitting the market. Atlanta, Tampa, San Antonio, West Palm Beach, and Austin all had the biggest declines in new listings. I wish they did active listings here, but they don't as far as the biggest winners and losers. So they haven't done that yet. But median sale price graph, we'll look at this briefly and then we'll keep moving into the metros. Yeah, so median sale price is now 4% higher than it was last year. It's not crashing. It actually is showing an increase versus the last report, but some of that is due to the fact that they revised the data downwards for that last report to $382,000. So now going to $383,000, it's a slight increase. And they can show that, increase on the graph. We peaked back here. I think we peaked at like 396, I believe. So 13,000 down from the peak. The question is, will we end up lower than 2023? That's the question. I don't know. We could. A lot of people are hoping that we do. All right, median asking price. Look at this. Now it's down. It's coming down from last week, but it's certainly a lot higher than it was last year, of 5.7%. Man, if this crashes, if people just start realizing, I got to list my home, for less money than I thought I could, you'll see this drop. But right now, we're not seeing that. Again, it could be more expensive homes being listed. Homebuyer housing payments. Look how far that's down compared to 2023. That's at 6.12% though, interest rate, not 6.67. It's threatening to drop underneath 2022. It's threatening. I expect it to go up next week, but it's definitely dropping. Pending sales up 2% year over year. So people are buying houses more than they were this time last year, but not by much. Not by much at all. It's still woefully low. It's still in the toilet. New listings of homes for sale. You can see this going sideways, right? Not a huge spike upwards. The interesting thing is it's not crashing, though. It's not going down like it did in 21, 22, and 23. And you can really see it, how it went down this time of year, and kept going down through the winter. But right now, it's kind of just sideways. But we need more new listings to have price corrections. You got to have a lot more new listings. Active listings. Again, not skyrocketing. It's not dropping. It's just sideways. We're right at 1 million units, 1,041,000 units. $3.9 months of supply on the market. Months of supply is tricky. You have to look at the data behind it to understand, hey, are these houses just stale? And because people aren't buying houses and not a lot of people are listing houses, it's not skyrocketing. It's kind of just moving again sideways over the last few weeks. I mean, there's some ups and downs, but overall, the trend isn't skyrocketing. That's for sure. 34% of pending sales under contract in 2 weeks. That's a 4-year low. Houses are just sitting longer, no doubt about it. Homes sold in a median of 39 days. That's a 4-year high. So it's taking a lot longer to sell a home. 39 days as opposed to, wow, way back in 2021, we were at 22 days, 25 days. So definitely taking longer to sell a home. 26% of homes sold above final list price. That's a 4-year low too. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Average home sold for 98.8% of final list price. So people are getting a slight discount. They're no longer selling like they were back in 2022 for 103% of the actual list price, which is crazy, right? All right. Redfin Homebuyer Demand Index. This is their proprietary algorithm way to calculate demand. That's not very impressive either. They're saying it's like amazing, but I don't know. I don't think it's amazing. Demand, and from what I see, hasn't like rushed back into the market. I'm at open houses every week. I do an open house every week, or every weekend rather, and I'm not seeing a ton of buyers. And the buyers I do see are taking their time. They're not in a hurry. Not in a hurry at all to buy. At least most of them. All right, so that's the graphs from Redfin. Now let's jump into the. We will jump into the metro level stuff. All right, now we're going to start with Columbus because I live near Columbus, Ohio. So you can go to this Redfin data center anytime you want and take a look at these different markets. Sometimes it gives you a fit like it's giving me right now, but I'll get it here. Columbus, Ohio. All right, Columbus, Ohio. Let me just move my box here. There we go. All right, so Columbus, Ohio, new listings. What's going on in Columbus? So by the way, I didn't mention this at the beginning, my fault, but we're going to do Columbus, we're going to do Cincinnati, Cleveland, Ohio. We're going to do Salt Lake City. That was a request from a viewer. So if you have a metro you want me to analyze, put it in the comments. I'm happy to analyze it for you. So I've got Salt Lake City, Utah, Houston, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Baltimore, Maryland, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And like I said, we're going to do Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland first. So I'll look at new listings, then I'll look at active listings, I'll look at pending sales. Depending on what those show in these markets, I'll also look at median days on market, and then I'll look at median sale price last on each of these metros. So Columbus, Ohio. Look at where this is. New listings. This has been steadily going down in Columbus. We're now at 4.2% year over year increase, 615 new listings according to Redfin. This is just, it's steadily going down. I mean, they always go down in the winter, right? Less new listings. That's to be expected, but the lack of new listings here in Columbus is just not, it's staggering. There's people just aren't listing their homes for sale. So just up a measly 4.2%, pretty close to what national is, right? National is 5.7. All right, that's new listings. Let me do active listings. Now, this is interesting, right? Active listings are starting to sweep up right now in Columbus, up 19% year over year, maybe because homes are sitting, right? Starting to sit a lot longer. In the winter, to see active listings rise like this is unique. You can see what happens every winter. They start to head down about this time of year. So to have them start to go up could be a sign that there's some, pain coming. I don't know. Some would argue that Columbus is going to be protected from any crash because of the Intel effect. Intel's building a massive factory here. So the demand, they say will stay here forever. We'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't count on it. It could. All right. So let's do pending sales. Pending sales in Columbus, a slight tick up, 2.7% up year over year, but not amazing. Not amazing in any fashion. Kind of flat compared to last year, right? People just aren't buying, right? They're not listing either for the most part, but they're not buying. Not like they were, 2, 3, 4, even pre-pandemic years ago, right? Median sale price is next. Let's do that. Median sale price up 4% year over year. This ticked up over the last few weeks, $346,000. We peaked back at $355,000. This was revised too. I think the last chart I remember was 356. So this changed slightly. But Columbus has become unaffordable for the locals. I know people moving from out of town think, man, that's a steal. Columbus is a steal at 346 grand. But for the locals, it's like nuts. They can't believe this, right? I mean, look at back in this time. Well, let's just use this time back in 2021. Median sale price, 278 grand. Now, 346. Insanity. And people say with Intel here, it's going to get even worse. Property taxes are a lot worse. I can tell you that. They're off the chain. Okay, that was Columbus. Now we're going to do Cleveland, Ohio. Let's do new listings in Cleveland. Look at new listings starting to spike up in Cleveland, up 3.4% year over year, and it's headed upwards. So you're getting some more listings, Cleveland. You definitely are. All right, active listings in Cleveland, Ohio. Wow, that hasn't ticked up yet. I mean, it's kind of been going sideways for a while, up only 1.47% year over year. That's insanity, right? Columbus is up 18% year over year in active listings. Cleveland, 1.47%. That's it. Almost going down compared to last year. It's almost under last year. Okay. Whoops. Let's do pending sales in Cleveland. Look at pending sales. Wow, 4-year low in pending sales for Cleveland. Man, that's just, I'm surprised at that. I would think it would be higher, but it has been going down the last few weeks. But with more new listings, right? You'd think there would be some opportunities for people to buy. I hear a lot of people invest in Cleveland. Like, since I'm in Columbus and I'm an investor, I get deals in, throughout the state. I don't own anything in Cleveland, but I get sent a lot of deals. I would suspect there's a lot of old inventory that needs a lot of work and extensive rehabs. And people are probably trying to get their money out of it, or, maybe quick flip it or something. I don't know. Pending sales there. All right, let's do median sale price in Cleveland. Median sale price, man, up 10% year over year in Cleveland. Yep, you can still buy a house in the United States in a major city with a pro football team for $227,000. That's what the median sale price is. Huh. It spiked back in June, $247,000. So even though it's up 10% year over year, it's starting to head down. I guess it does usually during the winter and fall and all that, but it's definitely heading down. Pretty interesting stuff there. All right, so that's Cleveland. Let's do Cincinnati. Cincinnati, Ohio. New listings for Cincinnati. Up 6% year over year. And, again, it's, nationally, we're at 5.7% year over year increase in new listings. But in Cincinnati, 6%. Just need a lot more new listings to have any type of price correction. Be interesting to see what active listings show in Cincinnati. Yeah, kind of just steady sideways, right, for a while. But look at the year over year in active listings in Cincinnati. 60%, almost 70, it's actually 61%. Yikes. 61% increase year over year. Wow, in active listings. That's a lot more houses for sale. Now, doesn't mean we have enough supply. It just means that we have a lot compared to last year. Man. Now, what's pending sales? What are pending sales doing? Let's see. Pending sales in Cincinnati. 4.9% year over year increase, but it's not spiking. It's not spiking at all. Now I want to look here at months of supply because I'm curious. With all that active inventory and pending sales not increasing, what's months of supply doing? It's only 11.5 weeks of supply. I thought it'd be more. Which is what, 2.5, like almost 3 months. 3 months of supply, almost. Let's do median sale price. Median sale price in Cincinnati, $290,000. So more expensive than Cleveland. Up 6% year over year. Cincinnati's just been on fire. It has been for several years now. A lot of investors in Cincinnati, probably pricing out a lot of locals, right? But it's surprising that Columbus is still, it's what, $100,000 more expensive than Cleveland. and maybe $50,000 more expensive than Cincinnati. That's surprising. Wouldn't think Columbus would be like that compared to the other cities in the state, but it is. Again, Intel's here or starting construction on this project. Other companies have, came into Ohio to set up shop, so that's not helping the locals at all with prices and taxes and whatnot. All right, that's Cincinnati. Now, next is going out of Ohio, Salt Lake. Salt Lake City, Utah. All right, new listings, and this was a viewer request for Salt Lake. So let's see. 1.7% increase in new listings in Salt Lake City. It's been going down. Like, look at that. It spiked back into, May of 24. Salt Lake spiked. And then steadily, had gone down with new listings. So it's basically flat where it was last year, really close to where it was in 2022. Not impressive by any means. Active inventory in Salt Lake City. 5.7% up year over year. Not a ton. And it spiked in the spring and summer when it should have probably in active listings. And now it's just sideways. Let's look at pending sales. I wonder how it's doing there. 8.1% more than last year in pending sales. So people are buying in Salt Lake more than they were last year, but it's not like a massive rise in pending sales. And you can kind of see that, right? When you look at the active listings, right? Active listings are kind of just steady, right? So you've got inventory that's just sitting because people aren't, they're not listing their homes. So there's not a ton of new listings and people aren't buying homes that much. So active listings are just kind of stalled out. Let's look at median sale price. Oop, that's new listing price. Let's look at median sale price. $532,000. Man, Utah's expensive. Jeez. It's not a peak though. Look at the peak back in 2022, 562 grand. It looks like it peaked. And that was in 2022. And then in 2023, you were down a lot in Salt Lake in 2023. Look at this. At one point, median sale price in Salt Lake was down 12% year over year. Now it's back up 3% year over year. Actually a 4-year high right now for this time of year. 532 grand up 3% year over year, 3%, 5%. That's normal, right? That's normal growth in a market. I think historically the United States is like 5, 6% year over year, appreciation. So 3% isn't out of the ordinary. All right, that's Salt Lake. So whoever asked for Salt Lake, thank you. Appreciate that. Next. So I'll do some of these metros. Actually, let me look real quick and see. Oh, let me just check a comment real quick here. Why would anyone right now? I assume you mean buy the traveling something. I don't know what that last word is. Your guides, the traveling your guides. I love reading these names on here. That's hilarious. That's a cool name. Why would anyone buy right now? Is that what you're asking, or sell? I assume buy. But let me know what you're thinking there. All right, let's get back to the next city. Houston, Texas. New listings in Houston, Texas. Up 6.3% year over year in Houston for new listings. Had a major dip probably during the hurricane, right? I would think they had that major dip when they got whacked with the weather. But now it's starting to go up after some decline. But still only up 6.3% year over year. Really not that crazy of a rise in new listings. Active inventory. Look at this. Active inventory going down. It's up only 17%. It's actually less than the national average is the national number is 18% year over year increase in active inventory. Houston's at 17%, 17.47. It's not skyrocketing at all. So I don't know. Like, I've heard a lot of people say, hey, Houston has a ton of inventory. Well, they do compared to last year, 18%, I guess, or 17.47, but it's not skyrocketing. It's just kind of holding steady, actually starting to go down a little bit now. All right. Pending sales in Houston. Look at that down. Wow. 4-year low in pending sales, down 5.9% in pending sales. Yikes. Houses are just not moving. They're not being listed that much either. There's not a huge rise in new listings, but there's definitely not a relief when it comes to pending sales. No activity. Demand there is crushed. Crushed. Wow. Okay, let's do median sale price. Median sale price in Houston, 338 grand. Columbus is more expensive than Houston. Always amazes me. Looks like it peaked. Yeah, I guess it matched last year. This year we got to $353,000 in the median sale price in Houston, Texas. Look where it was. Wow, look where it was this time in 2021. 301 grand. Now 336. So definitely a difference in the last few years, no doubt. And they're not off peak. They're actually, I mean, they peaked the same amount that they did in 2022 this year, but it's not crashing by any means, the price in Houston. All right. So that's Houston, Texas, still up year over year in price. Inventory doesn't look like it's surging at all. So there's probably still some buying opportunities though in Houston. Phoenix, Arizona. Look at new listings in Phoenix. Man, so far these metros have been kind of boring, right? Not a whole lot of insane news, except Cincinnati with their 60% increase in active listings. But look at this, new listings in Phoenix, Arizona, 23%. I mean, it's just straight up. Must be some pain there, man. People like, shoot, I bought a second house in Phoenix. I got to sell it. Sell. All right. What's active inventory looking like? Yeah, look at active inventory. Just go nuts now. 38% higher than last year, and it's just going up right now. Just up. Wow. Now, what are pending sales doing? If those aren't going up like crazy, they're starting to rise somewhat. I think if you're going to add a lot of inventory to a market, all of a sudden, you're going to see a spike in pending sales, probably because, you just throw a bunch of inventory into a marketplace, a lot of which is probably discounted, right? If you do that, well, logic tells you that there's going to be some people that buy it up. I mean, there are people that tell me that, they're out there looking. I know they are. Investors, even primary home buyers are looking, just waiting for the right deal. And so, if they see a bunch of inventory hit the market, they got a bunch of choices and there's competing sellers, you're probably going to see some price relief and probably see pending sales increase. All right. Now let's look at median sale price. Median sale price is right where it was 2 years ago and really close to last year, only up 1% year over year, 451 grand. Looks like in Phoenix, it peaked at 488 grand back in 2022. So they're definitely off of peak, but not crashing year over year, not at all. That'll be interesting to see if this number moves a lot as more inventory hits the market there, right? Because you've got a lot of, new listings are skyrocketing. We saw that. Active inventory is going up substantially. Will prices go down? They could. I mean, it'll be cool to check that one out. I'm just going to make a note of that. To check that again. Check Phoenix in a couple weeks or so. All right. Pittsburgh, PA is next. By the way, again, if you have a metro you want me to analyze, drop it below. Even if it's after the live's done, just drop it below and I'll jump on it on the next live next week. All right, new listings. in Pittsburgh, PA, up 8.4% year over year. It's starting to go sideways, but it has gone up over the last few weeks. Hmm. Yep, it's gone up. I wonder if how active listings are doing in Pittsburgh. Starting to go up in a time usually when it would go down, right? You can see all the other years pretty much been going down this time of year, but now it's starting to go up. 2.14% year over year increase, not that much compared to last year. I mean, look at it compared to the previous years. Holy Toledo. I mean, back in 2022, there were 8,211 listings available. And in 21, there were 8,898 listings available. Now, only 7,309 listings available. So active inventory is decimated compared to the last few years. I mean, it's up a little bit compared to last year, but it's not like it's, way elevated. It's not a 4-year high by any means. So just less active inventory in Pittsburgh. All right, let's look at pending sales, see how they're doing. Pending sales, 1.5% year over year, starting to go up. So it's more than last year. But again, like a lot of other metros, it's just stagnant. Not a lot of buyers. In these metros that have poor pending sales, if new listings hit the market and active listings follow that, because as the new listings hit the market and pending sales are bad, you're probably going to see active listings rise and be sticky, and maybe prices then will start to come down. But if pending sales are, not great and new listings aren't great, it's just kind of a stalemate. And that's what you're seeing in Pittsburgh, it looks like. All right, let's do median sale price. Median sale price, Pittsburgh, PA, up 7% year over year, $242,000. Peaked at 256. But yeah, it's more than last year, but it's just not, certainly not crashing at all. So far, I haven't found a price crash. Keep looking for one. Tell me where you live if there's a price crash. I'd like to look at that metro. All right. Let's do Baltimore. Huh. We're doing the AFC North. Right. I got Baltimore. Great city. Baltimore's an awesome city. Got Baltimore, did Cincinnati, did Cleveland, did Pittsburgh. So I guess we got the AFC North. Did Houston, right? So it's the AFC North plus the old AFC North. All right. New listings in Baltimore, 18% increase year over year. Wow. Those are going up a lot. Look at that in Baltimore. Active listings. This is starting to go up too. 16% increase year over year in active listings. A lot more than last year and continuing to go up right now. I know that market's been really tight, so it could be a sign that things are changing there. Pending sales, where are they in Baltimore? Look at that's going up too. So there's more activity, 8.1% increase in pending sales. You got more new listings, more active homes on the market, and it looks like more buyers. Todd Sachs should look at this and do it on his one of his shows. Because according to him, everything's crashing or has crashed or will crash soon. So I want to know about Baltimore. Tell him to look at this data and go, hey, what's up with this? Like, looks like pending sales are increasing. Like there's more activity. Maybe this is a lie. I don't know. It's fraud. It's manipulated charts. Median sale price in Baltimore, not crashing, up 6% year over year, $395,000. They peaked at 410 grand, but it's certainly not crashing. So no crash in Baltimore, at least not yet. All right, that is Baltimore. Let's do Milwaukee, Wisconsin. New listings in Milwaukee. Starting to go up. Look at this. Bucking seasonal trends. Up 6.2% in new listings. Will that continue? It's a 3-year high, right? But it's not a 4-year high yet, but it could eclipse that. Could eclipse 2021 if that trend continues. Active listings. Look at this. Jeez. Only up 0.37%, less than 1% increase. So new listings are starting to go up, but active listings aren't impressing in Milwaukee. So it's I wonder if they will, those, because new listings are starting to increase. Let's do pending sales. Boy, this is a little hard to see, but it looks like it's, there we go, up or down 0.8%, less than 1% down in pending sales. So kind of stagnant. It is starting to go up from a low of down 6.1% in Milwaukee. So pending sales are starting to increase a little bit, probably because of more, some more activity, or I'm sorry, more listings, but there isn't a ton of inventory there. So what's median sale price doing? Again, back up. It was headed down, but now it's going back up. $337,000, up 10% year over year. Wow. Median sale price peaked at $358,000, up 11% year over year. Back this summer. I mean, yeah, Milwaukee's not crashing either. So far, I haven't found a price crash. Just haven't found one yet. Let's look at, we'll look at one more metro here. But first, let me just check comments. Population is going up with all the immigration. Yeah, I guess it is, right? People come in the country, it's going to go up. Yeah. But like, if you don't have legal status here, can you buy a house? I'm not a mortgage expert, but I don't think you can. So I don't know that they're buying houses. But you're right. Thanks for the comment. I'm just going to go back to this one. Why would anyone right now? I assume what they mean is, why would anyone buy a house right now? Yeah, well, I would assume that maybe because they need to. You have people that need to buy. I've got a couple clients right now that are selling homes, and I've got people looking at the homes, and they're looking at them saying, hey, I want to live there in that house because I have a job in that area. So I've got a new job. So that may be why people are buying. Some people may just find the right deal in the right neighborhood and find the right house. I've got a couple clients, buyer clients, that are doing that now. They're like, hey, when I find the right deal and find the right house, I'm going to buy. Okay, makes sense. But a lot of people are on the sidelines. They just are. And when price is correct, maybe they'll buy, if they ever do correct. All right, got another comment here from Coors Light. What's up, Coors Light? I saw CoreLogic data market risk indicator yesterday that gives these cities as a high probability above 70% of home prices dropping within the next 12 months. Oh, cool. You're going to tell us what they are. 1, Provo, Utah. 2, Atlanta, Sandy Springs. Salt Lake City. Okay, that was one we looked at today. Palm Bay, Florida, and Gainesville, Florida. Provo, Utah, huh? Well, let's do that one. Thanks, Coors Light. Thanks for the suggestion. Let's do it. Do we have Provo in here? Let's find out. We do. Sweet. New listings in Provo, Utah. Thanks for that, Coors Light, by the way. That's a good suggestion. So just go back to this for a second. I just want to understand. You're saying that that Provo has more than a 70% chance of home prices dropping within the next 12 months. What do they define as dropping? Like year over year, you mean, or like crashing? By the way, when I think of a crash, I think down 20%. That's what I think of a crash. There's really no official definition, but that's what I think, 20%. Where did I get that? Well, It seems like a lot. It's kind of where I got it. All right, let's look at Provo, Utah, though, since it's supposed to crash or could crash. Has more than a 70% chance of crashing, according to CoreLogic. So new listings in Provo, Utah. Look at that. Wow. Up 97% year over year in Provo, Utah in new listings. I mean, it must have been like the whole town listed their house for sale in that 1 week. Look at that. Wow. Cool find there. Thank you. Let's look at active listings in Provo. And that's headed down, though. Active listings are starting to head down. There's only up 5% in active listings. That's kind of interesting. So where are pending sales? What are those doing? Those are down too. I mean, they're headed down. They're more than last year. I guess it, 12%. It's a 12% increase over last year in pending sales. So there are a lot more pending sales there. Maybe that's what's eating away the inventory, because active inventory isn't spiking. New listings are spiking. Median sale price. Let's look at that. In Provo. $552,000, up 7% year over year in Provo. So it isn't crashing this year. It's actually a 4-year high right now in prices. I mean, it's starting to head down, but it's been up and down, as you can see, right? So I wonder why they say 70%. I'll have to check that article out. But thank you. I'm going to make a note of that. Thank you. Great suggestion. Let me look at another city you said. Oh, within the next 12 months. So I'm assuming year over year. That's what they're saying at CoreLogic. Okay, I understand. It's from Jason Walter. Oh, good. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love his channel. By the way, Jason helps me with a lot of my editing anyway when I do like a regular video. So yeah, Jason's fantastic. Great guy. Great information. Great presenter with his data too, I think. Much better than me. Someday I aspire to be just like I aspire to be like Jason someday, as far as how thorough he is. All right, let's look at another metro you gave me here. Atlanta, Salt Lake, we did that one. Palm Bay, Gainesville. The Florida metros are going to be really tough, I think, for the next few months to analyze because of the devastation there. All right, Atlanta. Let's do Atlanta. Oops, let me take that comment off. Atlanta. Atlanta, GA. New listings in Atlanta. Well, it's a 4-year low in new listings right now, down 17%. Wow. That's nuts. So a lot less new listings hitting the market there. Active inventory, down. Well, up 0.57%, but look at it head down. So I got to assume, active listings are poor, probably because new listings are so bad. Even if pending sales aren't great. What are pending sales doing? Look at pending sales down. Every year it's down this time of year. I mean, this is a 4-year low in pending sales too, down 12% in pending sales. So we'll go back to new listings here. The only salvation, like a place like Atlanta has right now, from just a chart standpoint, just looking at the charts. I don't live there. I don't know anything about Atlanta. The real estate market there, I'm not plugged into it. But when you look at the data on the screen, you're down 17% in new listings, and pending sales are down and a 4-year low as well. So the only salvation a market like that has with prices is the fact that new listings aren't massive. If new listings were skyrocketing, then you would see prices, I would think, start to come down substantially. And that's what you have to watch in your local market, by the way. You got to watch those new listings and look at the pending sales and look at the pace of sales. Look at the months of supply on how fast the houses are churning, the inventory's churning, and look at it specifically in the price point in your local housing market. Look at it by price point, and you can ask a realtor for that data. Don't because like Redfin doesn't have it broken out by price buckets. But don't just assume that, you know, don't just use the Redfin data for your metro. Dive into the details as far as the price buckets, especially pay attention to that price bucket that you want to buy in. So if you want to buy a $300,000 house, look in the $300,000 data. Don't look at $1 million data because you're not buying a $1 million house. All right, let's look at median sale price now in Atlanta. See how that's doing. Median sale price. Yeah, it hasn't crashed $399,000. It's been pretty steady all year. 418 grand was the peak. Now 399 grand. Okay. So I'll have to go back and look at the Jason Walter video and find out what's up there. And keep my eye on those metros. So thanks for that suggestion again, Coors Light. I appreciate it. Awesome. All right. Any other suggestions or requests for metros from the folks that are on right now? It's okay if you don't. No? Going once, going twice. Yeah, if you were just watching this later, just drop it in the comments and I'll get to it on the next live. So yeah, I mean, I would say the thing to watch over the next few weeks is that, you know, the higher mortgage rates, what will they do to this data? What will they do to pending sales? What will they do to certainly pending sales? That's where I'd watch the mortgage rate change. But there have to be sellers out there or owners of houses that are like, I want to sell my house and buy something different. And they're just waiting for rates to come down or prices to come down. But again, we're just locked. It's just like a gridlock of nobody selling, nobody buying, prices just stagnant, right? And that's what I'm seeing here in Columbus. And it looks like that's what's still happening nationally. But we're going to look at the housing market crash. We're going to track it and find out if the market's going to crash. We'll be here every week looking at it. I thank you for joining me today. Love the interaction, love the suggestions and comments and questions. And yeah, that's all I had, I guess. Like, subscribe to my channel. Check me out on the next Redfin Live. And I also do an update most every weekday morning too on the housing crash, just like some data to keep you going throughout the week, and do some other videos on the channel. So anyway, I appreciate you subscribing. I appreciate you watching. It means a lot that you take the time to check me out and to interact. So anyway, thanks. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next Redfin Live update.